welcome back to my channel. I'm Kali.Alexandria and I'm super excited to be making this video today because this is my passion. I am so excited to talk about pitching, traveling, trying to get free stays while traveling, and I am so glad you're on this video. If you're not already, subscribe to my channel because I post new videos weekly, and make sure you hit the thumbs up if you guys enjoy this video, and if you want me to make more, I am glad to do that. Just leave it in the comments, but it really supports me if you subscribe and hit that bell so you get notified every time that I upload. I'm just going to be sitting here with you guys talking about sponsored travel, how it works, how to get it, and what you do when you're getting sponsored while you're traveling. But first things first, let's talk about what a sponsored trip is exactly. So usually a sponsored trip is when a hotel or a tourism board gives you free travel, like free accommodations, and it all depends what you get. So they could be getting you free flights as well. Typically that's not as common in just working with hotels, but you can definitely get free flights from tourism boards if like you match up with what they're looking for. To be completely honest, I have not gotten free flights at all. I just have gotten free stays, but this is what this is going to be about, because this is literally going to be helping somebody who has a small following and that they haven't got a free trip yet and they would want to. And I don't want to say like free trip too much because you are working when you're there, and a lot of people don't understand that at all. But if you clicked on this video, I'm assuming that you guys already have an established Instagram or a blog, because I feel like a random person is not just going to click on this, but maybe they will. I don't know. That's essentially what a sponsored trip is. They're literally hosting you to stay there for social media exposure or, you know, work for them. Traveling is my ultimate passion in life. I love exploring. I love finding myself, because I feel like I just go through all these like new experiences that I wouldn't have had if I wouldn't have traveled. So I think that is super important for me in my life. Ultimately, if I could try to lower my travel expenses, then I will do that. I did a little bit of research, and a lot of videos say, you know, you can get paid to travel, which is completely true. I actually just got my first paid to travel just last month. I think it was last month, and that was ultimately because I had booked a brand sponsorship for the trip. So they ultimately like sponsored my trip, if that makes sense, and they paid me so much money, and it ended up covering my flight costs, which was amazing, because ultimately it is so hard to actually get paid to travel. I would just start off with getting free accommodations, and I know for me as somebody who travels a lot, that is enough for me because I do travel a lot. So in order to start pitching, you're going to need some examples of your work. So say if you have a trip coming up, like a family trip or something, or if you just like traveling, go ahead and book a trip. You need to be able to give that example in your pitch of what you can do, because those people that you're pitching to aren't going to know what you're capable of. So for example, last year I went with my boyfriend to Scottsdale. We had been to this specific resort 2 times and we loved it so much we went back the second time, and we're gonna like try to make this a yearly thing. But ultimately I went there and it was not, the accommodations were not paid for at all, and I just went and did a whole travel blog post. I'll leave that post here. It was in Scottsdale, and looking at it you can definitely see that I took a bunch of like room photos and try to take a bunch of photos of the resort, because I wanted to see if I'm like capable of making a good travel guide. So that is what I did. I just made that as an example. I did not get a free stay there, and yeah, I also did that with a video too, so it's probably linked in that blog post, so just go check it out and see what we did while we were there. It was super fun to create. It wasn't a burden or anything, but once you have a blog post example like that, go ahead and take some cute IG photos and upload those. But once you do that, you can start pitching. So this is probably the hardest portion of all, because you will get a lot of no responses, you'll get a lot of no's, or we're unable to accommodate at this time, but you are just one step closer to that yes. So keep that in mind, that not everybody is going to reply to you and not everybody is going to say yes. But an important part of pitching is to know that it is not about you one bit. It is about them. It is about that hotel or tourism board that you are pitching. It is not about you, in all caps. It is not about you. But what it is about is what you can offer them and what your deliverables will be. to them. But I know for me in the start of my pitching process, it's important to not make the recipient of that email confused. So exactly outline what you are asking for. For example, I want a 2-night complimentary stay for these deliverables that you're going to list. So the more and more experienced you are, the more and more you can up your deliverables and really just hone in on that specific aspect. So for example, some of my deliverables are a travel guide blog post. Sometimes I'll do a full review of the hotel, and then also a certain number of Instagram posts, Instagram stories, and then depending on how big this trip is, I'll do a YouTube video as well. But along with that, you need to disclose, you don't need to, but it's helpful to disclose that they will have full rights to your content, but they need to say that you created that content, so they're able to use that stuff for their marketing efforts. I feel like just knowing some terms in there is super helpful too, and knowing what the scope of work that you're going to provide and knowing your worth, because you are worth it. You're the one who is working. Granted, you do get to go and see a new destination, a new place, experience new things, but ultimately you are working. And honestly, it gets kind of annoying whenever people are like, oh, you get to travel for free. That is so cool. Wow, I want to have your life. No, like, you guys do not see the back end of how it actually goes. And maybe one of these videos I'll just like do behind the scenes of like getting sponsored travel and just take you guys on a whole trip and just show you what I'm doing, because it is stressful, because you want to make sure you get those deliverables, because if you don't, like, you're under contract most of the time, so you gotta do what you gotta do. I'm not gonna give you guys my whole entire pitch, but I don't know what that was, but I'll go ahead and like list out what you should kind of be putting in your pitch, I want to say. So you kind of start off with like a greeting, and then you go into like who you are, and always address that person by name. Always find the name, because I don't know about you guys, but it is the most annoying thing whenever somebody emails you and they're like, hi madam, or hi miss, or hi at kali.alexandria. Like, it just looks very robotic and it looks like you copied and pasted. It's important to be personable and actually find their name, and sometimes it's hard to find their name, but I'm going to go into that whenever I go into finding different contacts. Okay, but you have your greeting, you have like who you are, and then I would put in what you want and for what. So go ahead, and then after you like add in like, oh, I'm coming to this destination, these dates, I'm looking for this, and then I could offer you this, and then give them a closing. So what I like to say is, I look forward to hearing from you either way. So they most likely will respond, but a lot of them still don't. And if you don't hear back from that original email, follow up. I have gotten most of my sponsored trips from that first or second follow-up, and I actually took a course from Erica from Coming Up Roses. She has a course called Boss Pitch. It just helps you with like all the marketing terms and how to pitch yourself for, you know, either money, either brand collaborations, or sponsored trips. So I'll link that down in the description box as well, but definitely check that out because that is super helpful. It is a pretty decent investment, but I'm telling you guys, it has gotten me multiple sponsored trips. Okay, so now going into finding contacts. So this is a pretty time-consuming portion of the process, but first you can go ahead and go to like, so say I want to go to Chicago, I'm going to Google Chicago hotels, but depending on where you're willing to stay, definitely put in like a 3, 4, 5-star hotel. And then a lot of times when you click on a hotel website, they'll have a media tab, and then a lot of times that they do have a media contact, but that is not always the case. Sometimes I go on Instagram, give them a little message to ask them who runs their marketing department, get an email if you can, or you can email their info at whatever, Marriott Hotels, whatever it is. Definitely email that and ask for a marketing contact, or ask them to direct you, because don't just send your whole pitch to like one of those info emails, because more than likely they're going to be very confused, because it's going to hit somebody that has no idea what you're talking about. But that's the first thing I like to do. I like to start off with that, You can also go on Google search. This is a little hack that I learned, and type in all opinions are my own and then the place you want to visit. So all opinions are my own Chicago, and that comes up with blogger friendly hotels that different bloggers have worked with in the past, because you have to disclose that you're working with them, and a lot of times the bloggers will put like all opinions are my own, blah 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 blah, and that is just like a good hack to like see who's working with bloggers. But again, like that trick could get overloaded and a bunch of bloggers could be reaching out to that same hotel. So even finding your own is nice too, because I feel like that gives you a little bit of leverage. Oh my gosh, make sure if you're pitching a hotel and they have an Instagram that is like less than 10,000 followers, follow them. It is terrible. And I think this is on personal preference, but whenever I come across somebody who reached out to me in my own email inbox, and I go and I'm like genuinely interested in working with this person, I go and look at their Instagram account. That is like the first thing I do, and I see that they're not even following me. That's like my biggest pet peeve. I can't stand that. So make sure when you guys are pitching these hotels, follow that hotel. If their following is pretty small, like I know if you're reaching out to like the Ritz-Carlton or something, they have like 500,000 followers on Instagram, so it's probably not as big of a deal, but I mean, I would probably still follow them. That's what I do anyway, so definitely follow them. Okay, next is creating a media kit. So if you're not familiar, a media kit for a blogger is pretty much their resume. It just gives like stats and examples on different partnerships, and you can create a media kit on Canva. You can buy a template on Etsy. There are so many ways to create a media kit, so definitely just type in canva.com and you'll be able to create one from there. Canva is amazing. It is a free resource. Also does have paid options, but ultimately it is free. Highly recommend Canva. And then they say, so this is kind of something that is personal preference, but I have found just through like different research and taking my course to not include your media kit in your initial pitch email. That is because the email system will mark that email as spam and just send it straight to that recipient's spam folder. So you can just at the end, like at the closing of your initial pitch, you can just say, I'm happy to send you my media kit to get fully acquainted with my audience and stats. Like that's what you can say. So you can just tell them that yes, you do have one, but you're not gonna put it in that initial email because it will likely get marked as spam. So just a bunch of closing items. You will be getting a lot of no's. Like that is just the hard truth behind this, because companies, PR teams get a lot of emails, and they are looking for specific people. So just know that you're gonna get a lot of no's, but you are just that much closer to the yes. So just keep on going, because the more personal you can be in an email and the more that you can deliver, the likelier that you're going to say yes. So don't just copy and paste a whole bunch of pitches to different people. Make sure you like try to find some research on the company and say like, oh, that is so cool how you guys did that. I think that is amazing. Like something like that, just to make it a little bit more personable. Always add the name in the email. That is one of the most important things. And my very last thing that is my most important tip is to over deliver. So there comes a time where you can only offer so much in, say, a 2-day time span that they are giving you to stay there. You can honestly only offer so much, and you want to make sure you over deliver. So just give yourself that time to create more photos, create a better blog post, because you do want to over deliver. And I did want to touch on this. I completely forgot about it until just now. But a lot of times hotels and stuff will counter and try to give you a thing called a media rate. And what that means is just a discounted rate on the current like rate of the hotel, which is great if you are going there anyway. Like it definitely helps, but remember that you guys are working, and literally that would mean you're literally paying to work, which doesn't really make a lot of sense to me. But by all means, if you are going there, definitely take it. I know I've done that before, because I'm like, I know I'm going to this destination, so if I can get a discount on a hotel that I'm already gonna book, fine. But anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and hopefully you learned something. Give me a big thumbs up if you did, because that really supports me. So make sure you guys give me a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel, because I post new videos weekly. And with that, I will see you guys next week. Bye!